Good morning and welcome to Backyard and Beyond. This morning we're visiting with Julie Andersen, and she is an intern at the Danish Museum. Good morning to you, Julie.
Good morning.
Well, Julie, before we find out what you're doing at the museum, let's find out a little bit about you. Tell us about your parents and kind of what you were doing in Denmark.
I'm 23 years old, and I've been studying I am studying at the Copenhagen University. I study history and museum studies. I grew up in a small town a little bit outside of Copenhagen. My parents are teachers in the elementary school. I have two sisters, one older, one younger.
You're the middle child.
Exactly, in almost everywhere.
Now you're in the university. The internship is a part of your studies at the university.
It is. Instead of taking a class, you can do an internship, and I was supposed to do one in Denmark because I study museum studies.
Mm-hmm.
And I was supposed to do one at a Danish museum, but I've been working at a Danish museum almost since I started with my studies at the Viking Ship Museum. So when this opportunity came to apply for an American internship, I thought that was what I should do.
Broaden your experience.
Exactly.
And had you ever been to the United States before?
Yeah, 3 years ago I was here with a friend.
Okay, so there weren't lots of surprises about what you were going to encounter here in the United States, but I'm sure getting to work at this museum is a unique experience, like it would be at any museum. So let's talk about what you're doing at this point. I know you have several kinds of things you're working on.
One of the projects is that when Dana College closed, the museum got the things from Lauritz Melchior, who is an opera singer from Denmark, and I'm registering all his things that Dana College had. So if the museum is to receive those things, they know which things would be appropriate for the museum to have.
And I think a lot of us don't realize a lot of the work that goes on at the museum. I mean, that's your specialty. But to know that you have to catalog, to keep track of everything that comes to the museum.
A very good example is that Lauritz Melchior, he had a lot of records because he did a lot of operas. And I had to write every little record, the title of the record, where he did the opera and all that, and then I had to take a picture on it. So if somebody from the museum wants to find that record, they can go in to the file and look, and then they can see where I had to write in the file where that specific record is, so they can look for it, and then
Sure.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing, I don't know, but and so you can tell me that perhaps there are people from other museums or just people in interest who want to know more about this, and so they can contact the museum and say, tell me a little bit about this man or this record. And
sometimes there are sometimes there are visitors who want to know something about a certain object, or they are calling, but I don't know so much about that. But I think they can. Then you can look it all up, or if you find, if you have an artifact from a certain or a person there, and you see that she has donated a lot of other things, then you can go through the files and see what has she donated and what is the history behind that artifact.
Good. So lots of record keeping, and we have record keeping all over. But now that's all on the computer, so you can look it up pretty easily.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I understand you also work at the Genealogy Center.
Yeah, that's right. I work there 2 days a week, and right now I'm working on a project where I'm writing a section for the homepage of the museum about Danish Baptists, why they came to the U.S., where they settled, and how many there were.
So some surprising things you found out about there, as you study that, research that, you're going, wow, this is really interesting.
I'm surprised that if there were just like 12 people, they would make a congregation.
All right.
Because I would think that's a pretty
small
congregation.
Mm-hmm.
And how devoted they were. I don't know how to say it, but yeah, how devoted they were to, or committed,
Mm-hmm.
that they really wanted to make a church in that
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
little town. Where,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I was really surprised when I found out that a lot of times the congregation was founded and then the town came. So it was more like the people, maybe 10, 15 people had moved to a certain place and they had found a congregation, and then more people came, and
Okay, so they were very important in starting towns around the country. Very interesting. Now, do you, if people come in to the genealogy center and they need some help, can you do that? Just on a general question?
No, I don't think so. No, then eventually I think I will.
Yeah,
But people, when they just step right in, they won't see me because I'm
you're
sitting
back.
exactly.
Okay.
So that will be.
Well, tell us a little more about the website. You said the information you're putting together is going on the website. How can people find that on the website?
Then they have to go to the family history and genealogy center. It's when you go to the website, you see it. It's that menu line up on the top, and then you just click in, and it's not finished yet, but I think I'll call it something like the Danish Baptist settling in the U.S. Something really obvious, so you know what it's about.
Like there's no question mark there. This is what this is about.
Yeah.
Very good.
And I wanted to make it so that you can be in Oregon or Wisconsin, or where there were a lot of or where a lot of Danish immigrants they settled, so you can sit there and then read about it. And
good. That's what websites are all about, and especially good websites.
Exactly.
What's the address, I should know, for the basic website, the home page for the Danish Museum? Is it just
thedanishmuseum.org.
Yeah, pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Now, there's a new exhibit starting this Sunday. How have you been involved with that?
I've helped Tova, the curator, and Björk, the other Danish intern, taking down the old exhibit, and then I think it was the day before yesterday, I helped making the new labels for the exhibit. So
somebody else is really responsible. You're just doing what somebody else says. Hey, we need help to do this.
Yeah. Well, and I'm glad to help.
Yeah, and that's great. That's how that all gets done, is that a number of people work together on it. Well, what's next for you, Julie? I guess, how much longer will you be at the museum?
Until the end of July, so it will be 4 months. And next is I'm going on vacation. My sister's coming to visit.
Oh, wonderful.
So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But after that, I will be
go back to Denmark to do more, finish up some more schooling?
Oh, after the internship?
Yes.
Yeah. I have to, I just did my bachelor. And I have to take another class in the museum studies before I have the title. And then I'm going to do my master's.
Oh, so you have more schooling ahead of you. Yes.
Just about 3 years.
Well, beyond the 3 years, now it would be really obvious what you might want to do, but what are your goals out there when you finish your schooling? What do you think you'd like to do?
I would like to work in a museum, and I would like to be a curator, and that's why I've basically applied for this internship, because I think that the projects that I'm working on, and the things that I'm learning, and the things that they are letting me learning at the museum are very valuable and I can write that on my resume. And I think if I was to be an intern at a Danish museum, I wouldn't have the same opportunities.
Must have said broaden your experience.
Yeah.
One really quick question: what do you like most about living in Elk Horn? I'm putting her on the spot now. Or one of the things you like.
One of the things
Yeah, what
that
do you
I
really
like.
enjoy about being in the Midwest and in Elk Horn?
I like that I'm experienced the American culture. Not, I've been to the East Coast, and I got the picture of a lot of Americans, but almost as many tourists.
Yeah.
And I like that.
You got the real stuff here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
Well,
good and the bad.
yeah. Well, that's true. It's not always all good, but you're enjoying the good stuff. We want to thank you very much, Julie Andersen, who
You're
is
very
an
welcome.
intern at the Danish Museum in Elk Horn. And until next time, here's a thought. Every action in our lives touches on some chord that will vibrate in eternity.